February 25th meeting of the Grafton Zoning Board of Appeals. Where's my cheat sheet? You set it up. As a preliminary matter, I need to run through some of the information regarding this meeting. So as a preliminary matter, this is Bill McCusker, Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. So members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Ms. DeRosiers?
Yes.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Mr. Parisi?
Yes.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
And staff, so the only staff we have is Ms. Koshavos.
Yes.
And then speakers, Mr. Belfiore, can you hear us and respond?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. So good evening. This open meeting of the Grafton Zoning Board of Appeals is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted to the town's website at www.grafton-ma.gov, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment as there are no public hearings in this meeting. For this meeting, the Grafton Zoning Board of Appeals is convening by video conference via Zoom and by TV with dial-in access as posted to the town's website. Is that true? Are we on TV?
Yes.
Katrina? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. For Zoom meetings, please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other people may be able to see you and that you should take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording of this meeting. All supporting materials have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Meeting and business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will allow ZBA members to comment. For items with public comment, there are none, so we're not necessarily going to go there at all. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. So at this point, we'll turn to the agenda. There's two items on the agenda, both of them for Grafton Grill and Crust. The first one we'll take is a modification to special permit number 2020-869. This was the special permit that we granted to allow a small addition to the left side of the building as you look at it from the street. And this addition is related to the pizza business that the Grafton Grill and Crust has. And at this point, I just asked Steve, Mr. Belfiore, to perhaps comment on what the request is, although we all have it in email here. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. Hi, Bill. Thanks.
Hi.
And I'm at work, so I have to wear a mask. There's going to be people walking behind me. So we as you guys know, we came before you with the request to put a 10 by 20 addition on the left side of our building facing the front for two things. One was for the pizza oven, and then the other was to have like an easy in, easy out takeout pickup process for our customers so that we could separate our takeout from our dine-in customers. Everything was going great. Once we got it built, we realized that there's not enough room for the pickup. So it's really the oven and the way we have set it up with the tables have taken up the majority of the 10 by 20. We had already, with approval from before, we had a deck planned in the front to walk through to get into the entrance. What we're asking tonight is, can we basically extend it 8 feet by the 12 feet, which basically is going to stay within the perimeter of what we asked before. We're basically just going to enclose the deck. Instead of having an open deck, we're going to have an enclosure so that we can put some racks in a place for us to have a cash register so that we can do the takeout pickup process and not have to keep it on the other side of the restaurant and interfere with the dine-in customers.
Okay, and just for clarification, for those that have seen the building, what you're asking for is actually already constructed, correct?
Yeah, it was already in process. Okay. Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because there's still even more deck in front of that. It's on an angle, and I didn't know we were talking about that. But so it's a piece that's already built there. If anyone's been by the restaurant, it's clearly under construction. I think it doesn't even have a door on it at this point. So the situation here is this: we granted a special permit to allow this addition on the side of the building. What Mr. Belfiore is asking for is to basically make the addition a little bit bigger on a footprint that really was already established with a deck. He's essentially putting walls and a roof over it. In my opinion, and the zoning enforcement officer, I believe, agrees with me, you know, we should be able to do this as a minor modification to the permit. You know, and that's just something we need to vote on and agree on. I suppose if we say that it's not a minor modification, then Mr. Belfiore would probably have to go through the formal special permit process, you know, formal application, notice to abutters, public hearing, everything we went through essentially last year at about this time to grant the building he's, you know, the building with the oven in it. So that's where we're at. We just need to decide that this is a minor modification to the permit. And the same thing's going to happen with the next request that comes up as well. So with that in mind, are there any questions or comments or thoughts from the board? Mr. Yeomans.
Yeah, I drove by there today, and I think it's a very logical change. It's not extending out to any other part of what beyond what has already been approved. And I think it makes a lot of sense. It accommodates the restaurant, and it also accommodates customers, giving them a place to hang their hat while they're waiting for that pizza pickup or that order pickup. So I don't see it as anything but a minor modification to the permit that we granted.
Is any other comments?
Agreed.
Does this trigger anything with the water protection overlay district?
I don't think so.
I mean, it didn't before.
Was there a deck there or a roof?
It was going to be a deck.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the special permit granted last June.
I mean, it's so small, it wouldn't trigger the 50% anyways, I wouldn't think, even if it applied.
Yeah, so the finding we had last year is the change is an increase of less than 10% in lot coverage. So even if we were doubling the size of the addition, which we're not, but let's just say for ease of math that we were, now we're up to, you know, an increase of 20% of lot coverage. And as Peter just said, that does not trigger the 50% number. So excellent question, but I think we're fine. I think we're still fine. Ms. Reed, did you have a question?
No, I was just going to say it seems pretty black and white to me that we should allow the minor modification as stated by Bill.
I would agree with that as well.
Likewise.
Okay. with that in mind, I'd entertain a motion to determine the requested 8x10 addition to be a minor modification of special permit number 869. Is that right? It's 869?
Yep.
It's 2020 869.
Mhm. That's right.
So moved.
Second.
So motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, again, on a roll call vote, we'll start.
Hey, Bill?
Yes,
Bill, I just want to,
Yes.
I just want to make sure it's 8x12. You said 10.
yeah, because that's what's in the letter, but okay, it's 8x12.
Yeah, and I sent a whole new letter with the new measure with the 12.
You did, and you did send something new, and I'm looking at the old one. Okay.
Okay, I just want to make
Yeah,
sure
thank
'cause
you
2
for-
feet can make a 2 feet can make a difference with, you know.
I don't want you back here asking for 2 more feet.
I'll be back next week.
Yeah. So 8x12, so that's 96 square feet. Okay. Thanks, Steve. Okay. Hearing no additional discussion, we'll do a roll call vote. So we'll start. Ms. DeRogers,
Yes.
Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans,
Yes.
Mr. Waller.
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. So, Katrina, I think just, I don't know if we actually need to, you may want to actually check with the planning department to find out how they document minor modifications of special permits. I don't know if this is something that Steve actually should file with the special permit in the registry or not. So could you check with Chris and find out what the proper way to document this is?
Yep, I'll check with them tomorrow morning.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So then the next order of business would be a minor modification to special permit number 870. This is the permit that granted grafting grill and cross the temporary tent. And I seem to have misplaced. Oh, there it is. So what they're asking for is basically the expiration date in the original special permit was November 1st of 2020, and they would just like to extend that to December 1 of 2021. Essentially, I think Steve's getting ready for, the coming season. So, Steve, I'll let you comment any further on that.
Yeah, so as you all know, we were approved last year, and we had a pretty successful season with the 30x30 tent that was on the right side of the parking lot. We're just asking to do that again. Obviously, we would, we're probably about a month away. I'm hoping maybe sooner, but we'll see. I think I've been talking to a lot of restaurant owners throughout the towns in the area. And, I think O'Connor's is putting theirs up tomorrow, but I think that's a little too early.
Really?
But we're looking to do the same thing we did last year, and I know we had great success. Customers loved it. We had no issues, no complaints that I'm aware of, and we're just kind of looking to do it all over again.
So I'll just point out to the board that the conditions we had in special permit number 870, one of them was the approval shall only take effect upon the commencement of phase 2 of the governor's reopening plan and shall be subject to compliance with the governor's mandatory reopening safety standards. I think that all stays in play. I mean, we've already commenced phase 2, and actually it's going beyond that at this point. So I think that condition is still satisfied and still stays in effect. In no time shall the provided seating capacity, and Mr. Belfiore, I want to make sure that you're good with this as well, but in no time shall the provided seating capacity of associated indoor and outdoor seating facilities exceed the original capacity of the restaurant after subtracting 3 seats for each parking space temporarily used to accommodate outdoor seating. So I think you're still good on the capacity issues, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's my understanding. It's my capacity of my current restaurant prior to COVID. So right now our rules are there's no capacity starting March 1st, but it's still 6 feet apart. So it makes my restaurant obviously being small size inside with limitations. So we would never exceed the overall capacity of the entire restaurant in or out.
Yep, and I think that's the intention of the condition. Okay, discussion from the board. Mr. Yeomans.
Yeah, I agree with this change, and I think, Mr. Chair, all we have to do is modify the condition 3 is relative to the date. No other conditions are being affected here.
Yep, and that's exactly what is in his letter. He just is a request to modify condition 3, condition C3, from November 1st to November 1, 2020 to December 1, 2021. Further discussion? All right. I'll just toss out one other thing. I'm a little surprised no one mentioned it, but one might ask, what happens if at some point the state declares that the pandemic's over, and Steve can go back to having a full capacity, no social distancing, that sort of thing. Is there any reason to be having a tent at that point? And I'll just throw my personal opinion in, and I don't think I'm unique, but I don't know that my family is going to be in a hurry to go inside a restaurant, regardless of what the government may say. I think other people are in the same boat. So I think that probably for the rest of this year, outdoor dining is going to be an important part of any restaurant business. Steve, I don't know if you have any comments or thoughts on that, but that's my opinion. So that's why I have no problem at all allowing this tent to be up through the end of the year, through December 1.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, I would even say, if he said tomorrow, everybody could go back to full capacity. I just think, knowing our customers and talking to them all year round, and I think I told you this before, we've got customers that have, since we've taken the tent down, have only done takeout with us, and they're waiting to go back out, but they want to do it outside. Yeah. So
I'm one of them. So.
And, so who knows? Even if they do get the vaccine, they still want to sit outside.
Yep. Ms. Reed.
Steve, are you thinking that maybe even after we're back to normal, that you would maybe make this a permanent thing? I mean, I know you'd have to come back. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a possibility. And so what I've done to try to set myself up right is I actually purchased the tent. So I will no longer rent it. Last year's rental was probably twice of what I paid for the new one that I've got coming in. So yes, I would try it. And as long as, I think we also set ourselves up with parking. We've surrounded ourselves in the area with a couple properties that will give us that additional parking so that we can take some of the parking spaces for the tent.
Yeah, I think outdoor dining is so important, COVID or not, in this area. I think we need more of it. So that's great. Hopefully that'll work.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? So it would be a similar motion to modify special permit number 2020-870 to change condition C3 from November 1, 2020 to December 1, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
So motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, then we'll do a roll call vote again. Ms. DeRosiers?
Yes.
Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans?
Yes.
Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. Steve, just check with Katrina tomorrow, or actually she doesn't work tomorrow, so maybe Monday.
I'll be in tomorrow.
Okay, but check with Katrina over the next few days. I don't know how this gets documented, and if it's something that you actually maybe need to get filed with the at the registry along with the special permit itself. I would think so, but I don't know. So check with her as far as what you need to do. But you've got your at this point you've got your modifications. You should be good to go.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I still have the
You're
old.
welcome.
I still have the old permit. I would assume I just keep that, or will I get another one? It's the same
No,
number,
no,
right?
keep that. Yeah, no, you keep that. That's your special permit. All we've done is a minor modification. So, no, you definitely keep that. The question is how, the only thing that's not clear in my mind is how that gets documented.
Okay.
And Katrina's going to check with that.
All right. Sounds great. We really appreciate it. Thank
And
you, everybody.
actually, Steve, now that I just answered that, maybe the way it gets documented is some sort of an updated permit itself. So Katrina will check on it and she'll get you what you need. Go with what she tells you.
Got it. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Nothing under new business. Actually, nothing under old business either. The only thing we have is minutes. Looks like we have November 9th, November 12th, and January 14th. Is that right, Katrina?
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
So let's do these. Let's get them over with. It's early night. If anyone has any corrections, please go ahead and speak out.
Yes, I have, Bill, on November 9th.
Yep.
The road acceptance discussion, the last line on that reads, the roads, if the sentence is need to follow the subdivision rules to accept the roads. If the roads could not be accepted by the town, just add the word if the roads could not be accepted by the town at a town meeting, and they would then remain private. That's the only correction I saw on it.
Okay. I'm just curious, Katrina, did these all come from the planning board secretary?
No, these
Or
are the
did
ones
you-
I took.
These are ones you took, okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? I don't think I had any on this one either. All right.
21 years on this subdivision.
I know, Peter. I know. Yep. Okay, so we should do a motion to accept the meeting minutes of November 9th, 2020 as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, and we do have to do these on roll call. So, Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans,
Yes.
Mr. Waller,
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. Next up is November 12th.
Mr. Chair, I haven't seen any need to make any additions or deletions to those. The minutes of November 12th or the January 14th.
Thank you. Motion to accept the meeting minutes of November 12th as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none. Mr. Rogers, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans,
Yes.
Mr. Waller,
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. Minutes of January 14th.
No changes necessary from me.
I was just rereading the motion itself, and I don't even remember doing the, did we do this variance? I guess we did.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see Prentice Place here, okay. Looks good to me, so no comments from anyone. We'll just do a motion to accept the meeting minutes of January 14th, 2021 as submitted.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans? I mean, Ms. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Yeomans? You're muted. Bill, you're muted.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Waller?
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. So just a couple other quick things. So we did sign the Mylars for Prentice Place. I think three of us took care of that. I assume that that's all set at this point. Trina?
Yeah, we ran into a little glitch. There's supposed to be wording on it that it's a true attest copy versus on what was in the comprehensive permit, and that was left off. I've got the wording. We've just got to type it up and have Candy sign it, and then Sotir can take it to the registrar. I've been talking to Bill. I've been talking to Sotir and talking to Candy. I'm gonna get that handled tomorrow. And then we'll be ready to go. Bill, you got the email today. I'm trying to schedule the pre-construction meeting for next Wednesday. If you can't make it, if somebody else wants to attend it via Zoom, just let me know. Or, if a couple of you want to attend it. So I've got that going on the Mylars and on Prentice.
Does anyone have any interest in attending the pre-construction meeting for Prentice Place?
Yes, I would be interested in attending that, Bill.
Okay. Anyone else?
Long as it's not in the woods.
No, it's a Zoom meeting.
When is it? When is
Next
it?
Wednesday at 9 a.m. March 3rd.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Anyone else? I think I can make it, but definitely, Katrina, let's loop Bill in. And if anyone, I'm not committed to having to be there. I don't, if somebody else wants to go, I'll be happy to give up my spot. So if anyone changes their mind, or Marianne, if you free up and you can attend, just let Katrina know and she can get you the right, the right Zoom information.
I will, thanks.
Otherwise I'll try to attend.
Okay, sounds good.
And I thought I saw something else in my mail here. Maybe not. Maybe that was it about the Prentice Place.
Katrina, what time is the meeting?
9 a.m. I'll
Okay,
send you the
thanks.
link.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
send you the link.
Thank
I
you.
just set it up tonight. We've gotten a request from Turning Point for Elm Rock Estates to come in and lower their bond. So they would like to have a hearing in front of us. I just got the request from Steve O'Connell.
So has Graves gotten that information and be able to do their thing?
I don't know. This came in late. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I will find
Okay.
out. I will call
Yeah,
Steve
obviously
tomorrow.
that's yeah. Mr. Yeomans?
Do we still have the 65 days on that type of thing, a bond reduction? Do we have a time limit, a drop dead time?
It's usually 20 days whenever they
20.
request a change.
Okay,
But it's also going to
But-
be dependent on how busy Jeff Walsh is, because he has to do the calculations to see if we can lower the bond and the bond amount. So I've got to get a hold of Steve tomorrow, and I'll get a hold of Jeff tomorrow and find out if the stuff has been sent to Jeff and how much lead time he needs to be able, and when he thinks we could have a meeting.
if he cannot meet that 20-day, Mr. Chair, do we have to ask for an extension of that from the
So
developer?
Bill, this is the first time I've ever recall hearing a discussion of a time limit with respect to these requests for reduction in bond, and I question whether there actually is a time limit.
That was,
But-
I might be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not so sure there is a
Probably
time
not.
limit. Even if there was, all of those have been suspended as part of the governor's emergency order. And to the
Correct.
best of my knowledge, that has not changed.
Right.
But I don't think there is. I mean, I think it's to the developer's advantage to work with us in a congenial way, so that we get him his money back. So, you know, I think just let's get the stuff to Jeff, and as soon as Jeff can review it and get us some numbers, we can
Okay.
get together and meet.
I think that's the only critical part, as Katrina said, is getting the info to Jeff and him having the, you know, the time to put it together, to give us a
Yeah.
snapshot. Thank you.
Yep, I agree.
We've also gotten a request last year. When did we do the special permit? In September, we issued a special permit to 16 High Street for the addition of a deck. He now wants to enclose the bottom portion of the deck for storage. And I know Berger says he needs to come before us for a minor modification.
Okay,
So I told him that I don't know when our next meeting's going to be. That it would probably be whenever we did the bond for Elm Rock.
okay.
I could,
We also have, you know, we also have Adams Road, and
Yep.
you know, the wetlands consultant has pretty much concluded his review, and there's even rebuttal from the applicant's wetland scientist. And at some point, we're going to need to get together and kind of go over all of that as well. And I think that may be sooner rather than later. So there's a few things coming up that we'll probably be able to have a meeting to talk about.
Okay. I haven't gotten the report yet from
I haven't
Tetra
either.
Tech. Okay. I sent you
apparently
and Dan an email today saying, you know, I'm trying to get the invoice paid. I need a W-9, but I still haven't gotten anything. So I don't know if Dan hasn't, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. But apparently the applicant has seen the report. But yeah, I think Dan has as well. So perhaps it's a draft report, but regardless, yeah, all of that will be coming soon. Yes, Bill.
I just have one question, Mr. Chair. Prentice Place, the landscape plan, is that something that they're going to have? I know there's been a lot of discussion with that. They, as I recall, they have to present something to us for approval. Is that correct?
Yeah. You know, I think that's, you know, Satira said that, you know, they will, they're just not ready to do it now.
Okay.
But at some point they need to, yes.
I'm in the process of going through the comprehensive permit right now for Bob. Because I've got to outline some stuff for the pre-construction meeting, and I was getting to that point today. So I've got to review exactly when they have to get that to us. So when I find that answer more detailed, I'll email you guys tomorrow as to exactly when we need to have that prior to what part of the process goes. So I'll have an answer on
Because
that tomorrow.
that ties into that stone wall that has been discussed behind Bradish's there, how they're going to kind of obscure that or, you know, beautify it or
Right.
what have you.
Right.
Right. Okay, I think that's the only things I had that we needed. Oh, one other thing. Mr. Adams hasn't been on the board for a couple of years. So you may want to make sure he's got the latest and greatest zoning bylaw.
Okay, I'll get it to him.
And I think that's probably the only thing.
I have one. I'll get it to him.
I think I got to spend some time over the phone with Katrina so she can bring me up to speed on what's going on with everything.
Yep. Or if
Yep,
you want to make
that'll
it,
be fine.
Peter, if you want to make an appointment and come in, you can sit on the other side of the conference room and I can go over everything with you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you could come in at all.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have appointments again. So that just
Yep,
opened
good.
last week.
Good.
All right. Anything else? So with that, I guess we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. Roll call vote to adjourn. Ms. DeRozier's,
Yes.
Ms. Reed,
yes.
Mr. Yeomans,
Yes.
Mr. Waller.
Yes.
Chairman votes yes. We are adjourned.